version of this thing of ours. Friday, broadcasting live to you from Midtown Manhattan, approximate Midtown East Side. Hoping you're doing well today, wishing you the best. It's been a wonderful week. I first want to thank you, as always, pardon my finger. Thank you for your support. Thank you for financial support, your contributions, your rewards, your kindness. We do this, many of us, because we just love it. And Orwell, thank you. We do it because we love it. We love our country and we love a lot of things, a lot of good stuff. And we're of the opinion that we can make a lot of difference, a lot of good can come from what we do. I believe that. And probably the most important of them all, the most important thing that we do is to make sure that we focus in on this thing called, very frankly, this very simple thing called just awareness. That's all. So that you're aware, so that you think, so that you know what's going on. That's all. So that you are made completely and totally aware of all that is happening. And I don't even know where to go. I want to start off today with a story that has been, I think, in the past, I don't know what the word is, maybe the past 15 years of my life, that I became so involved in, very, very simply, and that is the notion, that is the subject of, how do I say this? Something that is an obvious subject, and that is chemtrails, as people call them, in geoengineering. I had on recently the inimitable, the ineffable, the wonderful, the incredible Dane Wigington from geoengineering.org. So I awoke today to find this story, or actually yesterday, of Lee Zeldin. Lee Zeldin, who was a chidrul. And Lee Zeldin is a moron. And I don't know where, very frankly, the president gets half of these people. I'm trying to find somebody who's really, really good. Can you think of anybody? Anybody that comes to mind that really impresses you? By the way, at 12:24 in the morning, reminding you, July 19th at the Cutting Room. Get your tickets now before they close the door. The Cutting Room, the Cutting Room, the Cutting Room, the Cutting Room. Tickets are available right here, please. I'd love to meet you. Taking all this on the road. So the question that I have, and maybe this is important to you. There's Shane, by the way, from the Sean Atwood crew. A special hello to you, how do you do to all of you. Paulina Luna. It's funny you say that. I'm looking up right now, and there's Paulina Luna, or Paulina, as you say it. I think she did a terrible disservice regarding the JFK. See, what happens is, the president gives people who are really not equipped to handle this thing, they're the best equipped. They're ballsy. Marjorie Taylor Greene. I think Marjorie Taylor Greene, in many respects, her reputation is shot. I want somebody that kind of looks more and acts more the part. I'm kind of old-fashioned that way. I mean, she's good. I like her, but I wish somebody else had brought up the geoengineering thing. Lee Zeldin is a jadrul. He's a poltroon. Just a nincompoop. And why he's in charge of this, I have no idea. I have no idea. Get somebody serious. Get somebody who has white hair. Somebody in their 60s who looks like a professor. Somebody with not a lot of baggage. Somebody who's not, because there are people that listen. Give me a name of somebody that you think that you like, but that basically has either little or zero credibility. I'll give you one. Bobby Kennedy Jr. Bobby Kennedy Jr. is shot. He's shot. I mean, we like him. We like him. Alex Jones, great. In the mainstream media, no. No. Tucker Carlson, we really don't have any people. We have Candace Owens, no. I hope you saw yesterday my piece on Candace Owens and this lawsuit regarding Brigitte. She's taking credit for everything. Candace Owens is taking credit for everything. She comes across like a lunatic. Now, I like her. See, I like Alex. I like Roger Stone. I like a lot of these people. But they come across like a lunatic. You got to understand this. I'm the wrong person because I have a lot of baggage for the other side. If we're going to get something accomplished, we need to have somebody who comes out and really explains the situation carefully, and we really don't have that. We just don't have that. But did you hear, raise your hand, who heard that Marla Maples is involved in the debate? Who heard that Marla Maples, President Trump's ex-wife, Tiffany's mother, Marla Maples, is involved in the debate regarding this? By the way, Lionel.news. Is that a web website? Lionel.news. 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 For the private channel, for the newsletter to sign up, Lionel.news. Okay? Good. Now, I want to ask you some questions. Did you hear this story? You probably didn't. Now, let me see if I can bring it up to your speed. Always go to some of the best stuff ever. Some of the best stuff is InfoWars. InfoWars, people immediately laugh at it. It's so terrific. Axios has been terrific. It's been wonderful. A lot of good stuff. In any event, here we go, InfoWars. Let me see if I can bring you up to speed. This is very interesting. James O'Keefe interviewed Marla Maples. Did you see this one? Marla Maples has been very, very quiet. And I thought maybe she had some kind of a deal. You know, where she said, look, you're my daughter's mother. We'll take care of you forever. Just do us a favor and just keep your mouth shut. And we'd appreciate it if you would just kind of keep your mouth shut. And that's all. Well, let me show you this. This is Lee Zeldin. It's one of the best sites. Go to it, see the story, and then go elsewhere and look it up yourself. Alex has the story. See the subject matter. Do you see where the UAE, I guess in the EU and the UAE, try saying that 3 times fast, are meeting together regarding AI. Take the information, go out. Don't listen to him. He lists the story. He says, here's the story. This is what they're saying. Did you see where Donetsk, where Putin is just, taking over. Taking over. He's going to Ukraine. He's going to say, that's it. If they don't whack Zelensky, I don't know who will. This is going on. You're going to hear this on Fox News? No. No. Listen. I don't know if you can understand this. I don't know if this makes sense to you. I don't know if you see it as clearly as I do. But there are people, here we go, Lee Zeldin, the EPAHole. Lee Zeldin. He tries to launch this investigation, but at the very bottom of this, very, very bottom, there's this great piece. And it says, here we go. It's, James O'Keefe interviews Marla Maples. Marla Maples. And James O'Keefe said that she's working with Bobby Kennedy on getting the federal government to investigate the spraying of American skies. Marla Maples. Did you hear this? Did you hear anything about Marla Maples? Did you? Did you hear anything? Did you hear anything? Did you hear anything about Marla Maples? Yes or no? Don't you think that would be kind of a big story? Marla Maples. Did you hear anything about her? Let me see if I can go back here. Let me go back to my, I've got so many things open. There we go. Have you heard about Marla Maples? Anybody? Poor Fred says, what have I missed? I've been asleep since early this morning. This is early this morning. What do you mean? Early this morning today? You've been asleep since this morning? What does that mean, Fred? Well, welcome back to reality. Have you heard the name Marla Maples hooking up, well, with Bobby Kennedy to work on geoengineering? Now, is that a bad thing? No, it's not a bad thing. Is she going to be taken seriously? No. How do you think that works? How do you think Melania likes that? Don't ever think that wives don't have a say in this. Don't ever think wives don't have a say in this. If you don't understand this, if you don't grasp this thing, I don't know what to tell you. If you don't think so. If you don't think that there's something, I'm just fascinated by it. Susie Q says, according to Google, she was his second wife. That's correct. Ivana was the first wife, Susie Q. Ivana, and then Ivanka. So here's the deal. I'm sitting here and I say, I don't expect anything to be done. I was listening to a great piece today, believe it or not, between Rick Sanchez. Rick Sanchez, my old pal from RT, he is now permanently, he has moved to Moscow. And he works for RT. RT is a splendid organization. Absolutely the best of the best of the best. And I hope that one day America is able to enjoy their information and the like unfettered, like all information. They are probably the greatest purveyors of First Amendment, even though they're not bound by the First Amendment. They are the greatest purveyors of free speech of anybody I've ever seen, or anybody I've had the opportunity to even be associated with. But anyway, so Rick Sanchez is talking to Judge Napolitano about what's going on in the Ukraine. It's nothing you will ever hear here. So let me ask you a question. How long do you expect these lies, how long do you think it will take before these people, these Americans say, we want to know the truth? When will it happen? When will they say, I want to know the truth regarding Ukraine? When? Why do people hate the truth so much? Why do people hate the truth? I want to know the truth. I really want to know the truth. I've never been hurt by the truth. I've never been hurt by the truth ever. I really want to know. I want to find out, what are they spraying? What's going on? Why are other people around? Did you hear with a rapporteur, Francesca Albanese? Did you hear her? Marco Rubio, who was a jadrul of the First Order, they're hitting her with sanctions because they're claiming she's anti-Semitic and her husband with the PLO. And name one subject that you think conventional news knows anything about. Name one subject. Anybody? Name one person on conventional talk, but conventional news programming that you think is really good. Name one person ever. Name one person ever. Name one person ever that you think really knows their stuff. I think when Tucker left, I think maybe Glenn Beck for a while before he clowned it up, because he turned into just a clown himself. But yes or no? Let me just ask some very simple questions. First question is, I want to know where everybody is. Give me the name of your city and state. City and state, not your address, but city and state. Cleveland, Ohio, Akron, Ohio, not Wyoming, city and state. The one that comes in your mail. City and state. Where's everybody from? Where's everybody from? Let's get an idea. I love this. Hagerstown, Maryland. Eureka, California. Warren, Michigan. See, I love this. Parkville, Missouri. Atlantic City, AC. Topeka, Kansas. Austin, Texas. Hiawatha, Iowa. Providence, Rhode Island. San Diego, CA. I like San Diego. I've been there many times. Very, very nice. Hyena? I don't know if I'm saying it right. Hawaii. Fine, how are you? Chicago. Waterloo. Cape Cod, Mass. San Francisco. St. Clair, Missouri. Kokomo, Indiana. Austin, Texas. Ozark, Missouri. I was when I was a kid, we traveled to the Ozarks and went to St. Louis, and I had relatives who lived years ago in Collinsville, a place called Collinsville, Caseyville, and Granite City, and that particular area. Davenport, part of the Quad Cities. Now, do you believe that what they are spraying in the skies affects and alters weather and climate? Yes or no? Jump in. Anybody? Do you believe? Yes or no? Push number 1 for yes, number 2 for no. Yes, 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 yes. Susie says no, she doesn't believe this. Susie, you are entitled to believe whatever you want, or not believe. You do not believe that solar radiation management, that the spraying of carbon dioxide removal, barium, strontium, and the like, does not affect climate or weather. What do you believe they're spraying anything? Or do you believe that's just condensation? Do you believe that? Gary says, live 20 minutes from Collinsville. Yes, yes, yes. Know it well. Sean says, can't remember the question. It's not for our benefit. I believe it's ridiculous to be spraying anything up there. Well, but Susie, what do you think they're spraying? And I'm being very, very, like I would a friend, or think of me as your father. Think of me as your Uncle Lenny, who wants to set you straight. He's not going to yell at you, not going to make you feel stupid, but says, Susie, what do you think they're spraying? Barium, something for the supposed climate change. I know about all the chemicals. So, Susie, you said you didn't believe that the spraying had anything to do with climate change or weather modification or whatever. And then you say it has something to do with climate change. Well, doesn't that theoretically reverse what you're saying and act, dare I say, disputatious? Does that make any sense? Cloud machine located east of Texas. Remember, Sean says, Uncle Lenny, you've missed about 34 birthdays of cars with $20 notes in them. Susie says, it affects things that are negative. It will cool things off, and we don't need it to be cooling anymore. If you'll look at the temperatures, we're too cool already. Susie, bless her heart, Susie. I think this is important to understand. Susie, maybe you can answer a question for me, Susie. This is critical. Susie asked some very good questions, and by the way, we're so glad Susie's with us and part of our team. Susie, when you spray aluminum, barium, strontium, and it floats down, becomes percolating in the ground, mixes with groundwater aquifers, what happens? What happens when you are spending most of your adult life, most of your life, inhaling nanoparticulates? When? Are you sitting in the dark, sir? Sean, do I look like I'm sitting in the dark? Sean wants to know if I'm sitting in the dark. Anybody? Sean? Sean, anybody look like I'm in the dark? Does this look like the dark to you? It's dark outside, Sean. Sean, do you know what? Tornado Alley moves month by month and year to year. Interesting. If they were spraying chemicals, wouldn't they feel the effects also? Wouldn't they feel the effects also? I don't know who they would be, but yeah. The Earth is a self-cleaning system. Haven't we seen this movie? The Earth may be self-cleaning, but you are not going to be able to affect your ingestion of nanoparticulates and nanoparts. Oppenheimer Ranch Project YouTube. What is that camera behind you? Joe Frank had a show called In the Dark. That camera is on WABC, which I'm going to be going on in about 15 minutes or so. You go to 77 WABC, and they have these cameras, and they will show us, and doing this, and we're in the worst position possible, slumped over in a chair. I look like a collapsed Buddha. It's just incredible. I look like Mr. Creosote or whatever it is. But those are the cameras that are part and parcel of our multimedia platform here on the station. Anyway. Did you ever hear of Joe Frank? Joe Frank? No. I knew a good Joe Frank, a lawyer in Tampa, a friend of mine. Joe Franklin, I did. In Australia, we have been sprayed like bugs. Now, Ali Hussein, cloud seeding, no. Hope you heard our good friend Dane Wigington. It is not cloud seeding. Cloud seeding is a walk in the park. Do you know how many that to cloud seed, I can put, 100 pounds of something in the back of a single prop plane and fly it over? Because cloud seeding is a different story. Maybe 100 pounds, 200 pounds. We're talking about sending hundreds of metric tons of nanoparticulate materials. Everybody go to geoengineering.org. Geoengineeringwatch.org. Have you heard that one? Geoengineeringwatch.org. Are you going to go? That's our good friend Dane Wigington. This is such lies. Let me ask you something. If somebody doesn't know something, if somebody does not know, they're lying. You see, when you want to work, let me tell you something. If you work on any public, I guess you'd call it any conventional, prototypical news organization, the very first thing they would tell you is, whatever you do, don't think for a moment that you're going to tell anybody this thing called the truth. Don't do it. We have lobbies. We have groups. Don't think so. You work for us. This is our agenda. Do it. And this is something you better understand. So always find the topic. Always say, how do I fit in? I'm not going to go in. I'm not going to push my way through. I'm not going to force my way into it. I'm not going to do it. I'm going to find a subject matter that I like, because unlike most people, I can talk about a variety of subjects. I can play a lot of songs. The great Tommy Tedesco, a great guitar player from the, by the way, I need your likes. I need 300 likes, my friend, immediately. I'm sorry to say, I need 300 likes. I know that sounds kind of paltry at this particular time, and it is, and I would appreciate it immensely, because it puts us into a whole nother world. In any event, Tommy Tedesco could play anything. He could play any song. He was so good. And when you called him in, he said, I need you to play rock, I need you to play some flamenco, I need you to play some kind of a Wes Montgomery stuff, and he could do it. Well, that's what I do. I walk in and I say, this is what's going on. I'm not going to push the levels. I'm not going to challenge. I'm not going to make people get phone calls. Because if I did, if I was at regular stations, they'd be getting phone calls all day because I would have the place shut down. But I don't have to say that. I can talk about other things. And you must pick the hill you want to die on. Whoever said that there's this thing called freedom of speech is out of their mind. I need your likes, my friend. I've only got 95 likes. I know it's early and I appreciate it. It's a Friday morning, but I would really appreciate it. I'd be honored for your likes. Please, if you don't mind, I would be honored by your likes. I really would. I mean that. So I've always understood this. There are some things you don't say. But I can tell you this, and I can go one step further. At Lionel.news, I have no restrictions. Number one restriction, terrestrial radio, for the most part. Second, YouTube. Now, Rumble's nice, but Rumble bores me. It's all the same. I like a little variety. Yesterday I was listening to Quentin Tarantino about why he's so good, because he was a real a haymaker, so to speak, a real vanguard, so to speak. All right. So on Rumble, you don't get this stuff. You don't get things like diet. I was listening to some things. Who's very good is Owen Schroyer. But they talk about methylene blue sometimes. They just make this shit up. I mean, I swear to God, I wonder where in the hell do they get this from? They just say stuff. When it comes to health, by the way, you can say anything you want. In any event. So remember, we got regular conventional news, followed by YouTube. Forget Rumble. Rumble, you can say whatever you want, but Rumble, it's just like Twitch and Odyssey and all these other things. I don't even know where they are. I'm also on TikTok, I believe. But I'm not. I don't do it myself. Anyway, now at the bottom line, where I have complete and total, is Lionel.news. Lionel.news. That's my private channel. That's a subscription. I can say anything. And what I say is about invariably sex, race, gender, Trump, crime, reality, stupidity, the things that's the most, where I am the most problematic, is what I say about groups of people, genders, people, ethnicities, demographics, men, women, foreigners. And it's the truth. It's the truth. I say some stuff which is very, very true. And as long as we keep pretending, see, we pretend that this is true. See, if I am a air traffic controller, and I don't tell you all the planes that are out there, am I telling you the truth? No. In fact, that could hurt you. If I'm not telling you everything you have on your screen is correct, but not all of them, not all the planes. That's a very dangerous thing. Unless and until you understand truly what's going on, you will never, ever be able to be a really fully functional member of society. Never. And you got to understand that, and you got to ask yourself, so what am I going to do? Does it mean that much to me? Most people will say, you know what, frankly, I don't know. I'm not worried about it. I just want to sit back. what am I going to do? I know it's always been like that. Come on, you're always... I can't stand this. I have to know everything. I have to know every bit of truth there is. 31 Los Angeles workers rescued after partial tunnel collapse. You see, my question is, if I wanted to be... Let me ask you this. What role would you be if you were the President of the United States? What would you be? Secretary of Defense? Department of... I would be the psychologist general. I would be able to determine and focus on the attitude that people have regarding things. I would like to get a temperature of the attitudes of people. I want to do studies on ignorance, disinterest, ennui, torpor. What is it that makes Americans who they are? What is it that really makes them who they are? And the first thing I guarantee you is that you have never seen such a group of people who have absolutely no earthly idea of what's going on. Like I told you before, if you knew what was going on in Ukraine, and the quote Middle East, your head would explode. I'm trying to think of it. Let me leave you with this one. Imagine if you lived in a world where you didn't have a radio antenna. I don't know if anybody who has an antenna. I think most people have apps. But anyway, let's assume. You would swear there was no radio. What if I plug this thing and say, this is called a radio? What's a radio? It was there the whole time. You never knew it. That's what you're getting by virtue of what you don't know. It's like you're not getting nutrients. You're not getting the truth. You need to know everything. If I'm going to explain Israel, Gaza, Ukraine, Donetsk, France, Brigitte Macron, I need to tell you everything from beginning to end. You understand that? That's what you need to know. You need to know everything. And their job is, whatever we do, I just want to tell you everything. That's the only thing I want to do, and I can't. Not on this format. At Lionel.news I can. Anything that I think is important, I don't have to worry about anybody being offended. My friends, thank you so much. Remember, keep those likes coming. I appreciate that. Make sure you subscribe to Lionel Nation, which is so critical. So critical. I want to thank you for your support. Thank you for being a part of the family. Thank you for making you fulfill me by providing this constant, always interested audience that loves to hear the truth. I mean it. And it means so much to me, more than you will ever know. And I mean that sincerely. All right, dear friends, have a great and a glorious day. Happy Friday to you. Maybe it hasn't hit you yet, but anyway, we're coming on 1 a.m. I'll be hitting the show pretty soon. Thanks so much. Go to WABCradio.com or 77 a.m. WABC. There's the app. They even have it on other apps as well, other radio applications. So listen. And by the way, if you call in, tell them you're part of Lionel Nation, so that the screener, his name is Riff Raff, good man, knows all about it. All right, dear friends, I love you. You know I love you. I love you. I honestly love you because you are so beautiful to me. Can't you see? You are so beautiful to me. Okay. All right, kids, have a great day. Talk to you later. Don't forget, Monkey's dead. Show's over. Sue you. Dad.